Alright, here is a tutorial on how to make paintings, both in terms of making the teleporting part of them and in terms of making them. So let's quickly go down to arrows painting, and you'll notice even the arrows painting here, which I've moved under signs for a different purpose, is a packed scene. If I go to that packed scene, you will see that this just consists of a grid map, a spatial, an area, and a collision shape. So I've already gone to the grid map and made sure I'm editing on the z-axis because that's the same axis as what this painting is drawn on. And I need to use tiny messages for this. So, if I do this, you'll see that this painting is now going to be modified in everything else where arrowpainting.tcsn is used. I can't use the normal meshes or even the small meshes because they're too big. I can use them. It's just that they'll, be the wrong size for the mesh. The cell size is set to 0.25 here, but the transformation, the scale of the grid map is normal. So we have, so this is actually just the size of half a block normally, but now with this grid map, it's now taking up relative to this grid map, it's larger than it should be. So if I go to level new, you'll see all these paintings now have these changes, and I now have grid map blocks floating in the middle of nowhere because I've modified the basic arrow painting. I'll be recovering that from the repo later. So now for the script, all I want to do is go down here to script, quick load, and load painting I, and that's all I need for this. So painting I has a few variables here. Rotation is how much I'm rotated relative to this painting when I warp to where it needs me to warp to. The high, or the panel high, the key path, is, and it needs to be some panel. Panel high is just a path that will cause it to teleport to its given location. So in the base game, you might remember there's originally not any paintings in the entry, but as you solve panels, they teleport to the entry. And that's what move to X and move to Z is about. You can't modify the rotation, and you can't modify their Z level. They will simply change their X and Z location. And this will move to the absolute X and Z. So if I go to that, I can kind of see that, my negative X direction is here, my negative Z direction is here, so it should be popping out somewhere around here. And the target path will be where it goes to. I have the target path right now set to the other arrows painting. And so it'll just teleport me to the arrows painting. Now, a really tricky thing here that a lot of people trip up with is how it actually teleports. So if we looked at this function looked at, you can see that it's connecting to a function in player a signal in player called looked at. So let's look at the player script real quick, and I already have it loaded up. So here's where it emits the script, and it basically says if the ray short sight is colliding, anytime it's colliding, look at the emit the signal and give you the parent of whatever you collided with. And then that's sent to all paintings and all things that use looked at. So going back to our arrow painting script, the way that this determines that it's the one looked at is it says, hey, if that signal has the same name as me, teleport. This is a problem. Right now, arrows painting has the same name as arrows painting. Normally, these two are in the same node, and so as a result, arrows painting can't be named the same thing. It has to be named arrows painting 2. So a consequence of this, let's load into the game. Let's wait for you to be able to see what I'm doing. Consequence of this is that, whenever I look at this now, nope, I should make sure that my movement is a little bit upwards. Sorry, what happened there is, that's the wrong one to move. What happened there is that I warped relative to the origin a little bit downwards, relative to the origin of this painting a little bit downwards, so I arrived below the floor of the other one. So now you can see I'm arriving here, but you can also see that when I jump up to this painting, it's also named Arrows Painting. So my other painting is going, okay, you should warp to Arrows Painting. And as you can see, that's not really desired behavior. If you want it to be desired behavior, it can be, but it's not normally what we consider desired behavior. You can also see the rotation here, where I'm rotating 90 degrees relative to whatever I teleported from. So now, so it will teleport you according to the same name. So this can actually get really bad. Let's name it spatial. So this is a bug that I actually ran across with another player in their custom map a little while ago. So spatial is actually the name of all the things in the default mesh lib So I now teleport whenever I look at a wall. And in particular, I'm teleporting to that painting. If I had more than one painting with Painting Eye, I would be, teleported by every single painting every time I look at a wall. This is obviously not desired behavior, so don't call it spatial. Call it something unique, which is why everything is now named, Arrows Painting, Arrows Painting 2. And there's no other node in my scene now called Arrows Painting 2, so that will not be a problem. And that's how you make paintings.